Good morning from Yummy BTV, or afternoon when this video reaches you. I see you're all in good spirits today. Wishing you well. My energy's good today as well. Well, it's coming now, isn't it? The detox. I did it raw with no tablets or nothing. We'll get the hair shaved in a little while. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, you can laugh, son. It's growing. I was timing it to perfection to get the hair done. The face will be back. The colour be back, like it always was. Like I always promised you lot that it would be, and I'm delivering once again. The milkman, the postman, etc. But yesterday, my boy Hangs, he asked me a serious question, but he was laughing. He said, "What do you mean by seriously disturbed individuals?" Right? And I thought about it, and I thought I was thinking of one category. Seriously disturbed, like you're in the cates or wherever, and you watch someone eating someone, that kind of stuff, and maiming and the extreme levels of violence for really small arguments and things. So extreme measures that might not have been needed. But we know the rules of the jungle and the law of it. Sometimes people just like to send out a clear message that if you mess about with me, blah, blah, blah. So, Hangs, the first bit I'm going to give you about extreme disturbances, Les, my boy from Listen Green, rightly pointed out today that man, a policeman named Gary Waddle, right? When we was younger, he always used to pick on me because I was the smallest. He always used to draw me out. He nearly caused me and my best friend to war, and my best friend wanted to kill me and that kind of stuff because of the mix-up that he caused between me and my bestie. Right, so yeah. He fooled me for a minute. When you're smaller and you're little Les, you know what happens, and then in later life you think, yeah, you go. But I had serious things about him. He was a living dodgy geezer because he used to say, "Oh, don't worry about the top half. Don't worry about them upstairs. I'm in charge. You do it this way. We'll do it that way." Everything was underhand and not professional and not done in the way that probably normal police officers would do it in that professional way and keep their morals to a decent standard. But interesting that I was lying on my bed. I can't remember where it was, many beds I've lied on, that he came up and he murdered his wife, and he murdered the mother-in-law, and then he hanged himself, right? So that climax, that's extreme disturbances, serious disturbance as far as I'm concerned, because that guy was carrying around a lot of shit in his heyday as a police officer, and still was, I think, a serving police officer at that time, and went and did all that. So whatever was going through his mind reached a crescendo of absolute carnage in the way that we saw him, Les, as well. So he had to live with all that bad stuff that he did to everybody, going into his family life as well. When you do so much badness and wrongs to people, in the end, it's all going to catch up with you, like it did for many of us. And he went and did all that, and that was a serving police officer. So seriously disturbed him as an example, right? The emotional disturbance. Right, so we've already talked about the mad, bad, and sad theme that psychiatrists, top psychologists in the cates or whatever they use to describe the individuals like myself and others that are coming through into the system, because they've got a lot of background information on a lot of us, and also by the way we commit our crimes, and whether there's empathy, whether there's sympathy, that kind of stuff. So they draw it from all of that, and the emotional disturbance I understand as mine. And a lot of us out there came from broken homes, one parent taken into care, at vital times of our development, and then traumas. Traumatic to leave the family home to start with, and traumatic to go into those institutions and be, trying to people trying to take places of your mother and father and give you that care. And then we know that again, not just police officers, we know that in those institutions of in children's homes, boarding schools, etc., you get the other lot down there as well that are going to also leave you traumatized. So they described me as being a sad individual, not mad or bad, but they based that on, I think, the empathy levels, sympathy levels, and the reasoning behind your crimes, right? So, we talk about um, being on the landing and emotionally detached from outside life because you spend your whole life in there and you're so used to the danger and the things that are going on and the reaction of violence. I remember when I first went to prison, I was a proper little sweet boy. Just wanted to play football on the pitch, say hello to a couple of people. Uh, Quite nice early prisoner, me, in the old days. After Aylesbury, no, sorry, round about that time when I first went to adults, round about the time of the Queen's pardon, I started to change. But I think I've told you that already, where you do something good and people make it look like you've done something bad, and then that follows you. And I'm not gonna, you can only get bullied and picked on for so long before you start fighting back in the end. So what I'm saying is, the development of living, with high tension, hostile environments becomes second nature. So for me, with the development from being not really too much of a dangerous criminal, but a bad man, and quite horrible, really, on careful reflection in later life, um, I couldn't see. I developed that way of getting worse and worse and worse. So you know that you're ruled by violence because you're only seeing what you're seeing and the way that others deal with certain things. I remember in the early days when, sorry for my language, if someone calls you a pussy, I was just who you talking to me? But on careful reflection, like why would that one get you so angry? But it's the law of the jungle that when someone says something disrespectful, everybody's gonna hear him say it. It's almost like saying when the battle commences, when two people, like when you go to watch, like we know it's like an arena in there sometimes, you go walking down and two people about to fight and they talk first because everybody's watching, everybody's witnessing, and it basically balls on what he called him. He walked up to him and he said that, and because you want to get your first bit in, so everyone says, yeah, so what do you want it? You see what I mean? So everyone says, no, he put it on him first. But the laws of the jungle, how could be name calling be enough for somebody to go and pick up a knife or do something and go want to maim them and all that? And I'm talking about serious cases, eyes falling out, people's faces being bitten off, all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, I would have preferred to skate around a little bit first until there was real imminent danger before I would have to, you know, have to back up the talk and protect myself because you're not just going to want to lie around letting everybody beat you to death. But the living with that, the feeding off the pain, and the circumstances, like to embracing it all, so that yeah, I used to because when you first go to prison, you're kind of scared of a few things, but when you've done it a few times more, certain situations when you know someone's serious and when they're not. If someone's calling you whatever he's calling you and he's looking at you, but he's not coming to do anything to you, you don't really need to react until you see the physical movement coming towards yourself, and then you have to protect yourself, like that. But in them surroundings, depending, because the loss of control with some of the real serious cases that I've seen, you think, what is going on there? You could feel the presence of nastiness. You're asking about Belfield. As soon as I saw the geezer, I just knew that I hated him, man. All right, but because of the crimes and all that, yeah, aside, but his aura when he turns up, you can just see it's just a horrible man. I'm not saying this that others a good man, but I know badness and wickedness. He comes under bad and mad, I say, right? And then you've got the others, the innocence one, not the innocence one. What am I fucking talking about? Um, oh yeah, I've lost my theme there. Sorry. Yeah. So the embracing of the pain, yeah, that I thrived on because I'm so used to those dangerous situations of trying to find a solution about how to deal with things. So what I wanted to say, sorry, was right sizing things, not overreacting and not dramatizing what could lead to real serious harm. You see what I mean? But hangs, yeah, a lot of disturbed individuals in there, a lot of disturbed in some way or another from the traumas and all that. And I just believe that anything, the way that it becomes seriously disturbed is when you can't have the self control, or from that extreme thought that you're having where you're going to go and do something really serious, you've got to have that self control, or that little bit of an element that says, hold on, I don't need to do it that way, if not at all, you know. But I'm not saying that when you're in trouble in jail you got to run and all that. It's very difficult as a man to do that. I always wanted to face the music wherever I wanted because I thrived on it. You get so used to, all right, so you get shipped out from Swellside to Blunderston, and you've got loads of beef there, people waiting for you, but you've got a couple of friends there in your mind as well. But while you're on the sweatbox, you're thinking, well, wait, well, I'm going there. What are they all gonna do? You could get seriously harmed, but you turn up because you want to face the music and you want to be. So I say that is seriously disturbed as well. So that is my kind of definition. I wouldn't wouldn't want to be, because we're talking about Yami's life experiences. But again, I hope I've explained it to you, Hangs, especially about the policeman. Well done, Les, for that this morning, because there's many, many, many that use their powers when we was younger to make us what we were today. And probably do some of us hate authority and things like that because of people like that. Again, we learn today it's more about what we're being taught. Um, Coming up in a minute, and I'm going to tell you about my old friend Ovi. Just finished 19 years out of a 6-year tariff, been to Broadmoor, schizophrenic condition, was involved in hits with me in the Cates, and a comedy one as well, coming up with that one that I kept promising you. But he has come on to the A Factor with me and my nephew Quincy. We've recorded it already. It's coming soon. You don't want to miss it. Trust me, he's been Broadmoor, Rampton, Ashworth. He's been everywhere, from meeting Bronson in there, the hospitals, Erskine, all them, the name Peter Bryan. He's met them all, right? So I'm going to come and treat you today to the day that when me and him went on a bit, treat you, treat you with when me and him went on a bit of work and it went bad for me again. Ooh, but not that bad. But yeah, he's coming soon. You're going to see him live on the A Factor. But I'm going to give you a brief preview about that guy and what to expect. And I'm telling you, you're gonna find it fascinating. I love you all. See you all soon, very shortly.